Get ready for the next character introduction when the ultimate Guardians of the Galaxy from the 61st century arrives in the present to rescue one of their own. Is this new team of galactic superheroes a friend or a foe? Let's find out in our review of the Ultimates number 8 from Marvel Comics. See you in 3. Welcome back to Comical Opinions. This is our review of the Ultimates number 8. Before we dig in, how about a brief recap? When last we left Earth 6160's Avengers in the Ultimates number 7, Earth's mightiest heroes took a break from acts of terrorism to reflect on their devastating loss against Bruce Banner, aka Grey Hulk, aka the Ultimate Hulk. Steve Rogers and Jim Hammond, the resurrected and rebuilt original Human Torch, grabbed a beer at a local bar. Hank Pym and Janet Van Dyne attended the memorial ceremony while Father Matt Murdock gave a heavy-handed speech about hate. Hawkeye blew up a warehouse, just because. America Chavez murdered a squad of police officers sent to corral protesters, just because. Sif and Thor traveled to the Nine Realms to assemble an army to face Allfather Loki, and She-Hulk had a tense talk with Doom. The issue ended with confirmation that Tony Stark is not dead. And that brings us to the current issue. In the Ultimates number 8, the Ultimate Avengers, without Doom, who's operating remotely, and Iron Lad, who is in a comatose state inside an iron lung of sorts, head out to a cornfield in the middle of nowhere to intercept a temporal anomaly Doom detected a mere few hours ago. The team is suddenly witness to the hard landing of a time-traveling spaceship containing the Guardians of the Galaxy from the 61st century. The future Guardians have come to rescue, as you might have guessed, America Chavez, who was a member of the team only until recently. When the future plans of the Maker, after he returns 10 months from now, are enacted, it destroys all time like a cosmic tidal wave rippling forward through history. At the moment of the Big Bang in the 61st century, the Guardians were scattered across the timeline, and it was only now that the Guardians managed to track down America's location. Unfortunately, America doesn't remember anyone because the Maker's Council destroyed her memory during her captivity and experimentation. Who are the characters she fails to remember? First, we have Captain Marvel, who is yet another wielder of the Negabands and America's former or current lover, depending on your point of view. Star-Lord is a mystical wielder of reality-bending power that doesn't have a name, but it seems to be some sort of manipulation of cosmic energy of some sort. It's not quite clear. Ultimate Nullifier is an ultra-powerful mega-scientist whose gadgets are strong enough to defeat Mephisto with one shot, and that's explicitly stated in the comic. And then last but not least, we have Cosmo Star Stalker, which is a dog with a prosthetic limb. That dog is a psychic powerhouse and the last remaining dog after all canines ascended to a higher plane of existence. If it wasn't clear by now, a lot of these characters feel like a refugee from a Cy Spurrier Flash comic. After a brief tussle where the Ultimate Avengers are massively outmatched, Captain Marvel shares her mind with America to show her the love they shared and the memory of the adventures they endured together. Ultimately, America chooses to stay behind to fight with her new friends, while the Guardians of the Galaxy from the 61st century leave to find the other Guardians who are still lost somewhere in the time stream. In other words, the new team shows up, there's a brief fight, there's a lot of talking and arguing, and then the team just leaves. Hey, do you want to be part of our growing community and get exclusive perks? Become a channel member today. By becoming a member, you'll support a channel you love, which is ours because everybody loves it, but you'll also gain access to special badges, emojis, and members-only content. Click the join button below to become part of our family and help us create more of the content you enjoy. Now let's get back to the review. And that's the issue, so let's talk about first impressions, what's good, what's bad, and the score. Your first reaction, if it's the same as mine, is that's it? That's all we get? That's all this is? I'm starting to sense a pattern here where writer Dennis Camp, or is it Denny Camp? I'm not sure, I've heard it both ways, and writer Steve Orlando are on similar career tracks at Marvel. Steve Orlando's contribution to the 2099 line is little more than a series of contrived, loosely connected one-shots, only designed to really introduce 2099 variants of existing current-day characters. They're there to fill the shelf space and to proclaim that they now exist, so if it comes up in a future animation project or a movie, they have it to pull from. But really, the line doesn't do anything other than, let's introduce new characters. The 2099 comics are in effect issue-length trading cards written with about as much drama, depth, and impact as a 2x5x3x5 Pokemon card. I mean, they're paper thin, there's nothing to it. Here, Dennis Camp, or Denny Camp, I'm not sure which, appears to be following suit. The story is pointless, It serves really only to introduce the team and say, hey, we're here, and we can show up at a later point if you need it. So if that's what you're looking for, just for the cameo introduction and the collectability of it, adjust your purchasing intentions accordingly. All right, let's switch gears and talk about the art. We have Juan Vergara and Federico Blee, who's doing the colors, and it's pretty darn good. Vergara's character designs for the future Guardians of the Galaxy look interesting enough, and Captain Marvel's recounting of the end of all things looks pretty grand in scale, albeit as a brief montage. You have to give Vergara credit for inserting as much energy and dynamic movement as possible into a really dialogue-heavy issue, because the visuals are more engaging than they have a right to be considering the script. I mean, again, it's just a cameo for a new character introduction or a team of character introductions, and that's all there is to it. But Vergara makes the most of what he has, and so kudos to him for that. All right, let's talk about the positives and negatives, starting with what's great about the Ultimates number 8. If you're looking for a silver lining in this, it's the introduction of a potentially cool variant on a familiar team. This time, Dennis Camp adds in the time travelers from the future twist as an imaginative prop to explain how the Guardians could be so gosh darn powerful. With this future team on their side, the Ultimate Avengers just may have a chance against the Maker 10 months from now. And are they powerful? They are super duper powerful. I mean, they put She-Hulk down without even thinking about it. They put all the team back on their heels without breaking a sweat. So this is a super powerful team, potentially too OP. But you know what? If you're going to need somebody against the Maker, this is probably the team to do it. And that brings us to the negatives and what's not great about the Ultimates number 8. Now, so look, I only know a few words of French, a little bit of Spanish. I can get by with some Spanish, and of course I know English. So there are a lot of derivatives of common language that we know and understand. And there are only so many language translations and English synonyms I can use in these reviews to express the word lazy. In every variation, this issue and the series as a whole could be held up as the definition of the word lazy. Dennis Camp gives you a cool concept team, but couldn't be bothered to create any cohesion for a through line to make their introduction matter beyond just a glorified cameo. That's all this comic is, it's just a glorified cameo. Camp hand-waves an excuse to have the team show up. He manufactures a very threadbare excuse for tension, and then the team leaves to be called again at some later point. Why not just assemble an issue with single-page character profiles and be done with it? You could hire somebody much cheaper, like an assistant editor, or use ChatGPT or AI or something to write it. You would get just as much value out of it, and it would come off just as well, and you could probably lower the cover price and feel like you got your money's worth from it. There is no plot here. It is essentially just an excuse to have the team show up just so they can leave. And if you look back at all the previous issues leading up to this point, that's all pretty much Dennis Camp is doing. Inventing a cheap excuse for people that pop in, and then they just leave, and then there you have it. So final thoughts, what do we think about the Ultimates number 8 from Marvel Comics? To be blunt, it's nothing more than a flimsy excuse, much like Marvel's 2099 line, to introduce a team of variant characters. Dennis Camp's paper-thin plot succeeds in giving readers an oversized cameo introduction before the Guardians of the 61st century disappear until they're needed later. And Juan Vergara's art is a treat, albeit, given the plot, a wasted one. Therefore, the Ultimates number 8 earns a 5.5 out of 10. This is supposed to be the main series that joins all the different Ultimate titles together, but man, this series has gone downhill, and it's gone downhill fast. But what do you think? Is this one of your favorite Ultimate titles? Which do you like better? Leave a thumbs up if you found this review helpful, and drop a comment below with which Ultimates title is still your favorite. I'm going to go out on a limb and say it's probably Ultimate Spider-Man for most people. Also, remember to click on the link in the description to read the written review, check out the variant covers and preview pages. Please like and subscribe to the channel because that would be great. And buy this comic to help support the channel because, of course, your support is greatly appreciated and it helps keeps us running. So thank you very much for joining, and stay tuned through the outro for more reviews just like this one.